Hey everyone, it's Jolene from Smith Nature Friendly Farms. I had said on another video this week that I would do a video with an updated view of our property, a new property tour. The very first property tour that I did was actually when we first moved in, and it was also, I was totally new to this process of videotaping things, so it's actually a pretty brutal video. Not that this one's going to be like hugely better, but it certainly will be improved. We also have a much better phone now, so our videos certainly seem to be better quality, and I'm getting a little bit smoother at some of this. So hopefully this tour is a bit better than the original, the 2018 farm tour video that you'll see online. But what it will highlight is actually quite a bit of change the property has gone through in just a year, and I'll walk you through that and talk you through it along the way. So without further ado, here is a updated look at the Smith Nature Friendly Farm. So when I started the video originally, I started about this point here. Off over in the distance where the Victoria the dog is actually our new roadside stand. We have had people stop at our stand. Let me tell you, that's an absolute highlight when people buy our vegetables off the stand. It's been awesome. We don't have a very busy road, as you can see. It's quite quiet, so it is nice that our locals and our neighbors will stop and buy stuff. So this is the field. When we first moved in, it was a lot flatter. It used to be cattle grazed, and we've just let it grow. Now we do mow, I personally do mow paths into it so I can walk through the yard. I enjoy nature walks on a regular basis, and the dogs absolutely love a walk. So we have left it quite wild with nice manicured paths. Now in that field, I'll show you a bit farther down, we did have an area that we had the market garden in, so there is some space that we turn into the garden. But down this side here, these are all blueberry bushes, and we actually plan to have quite a few blueberry bushes over the years. It's one of my favorite things to eat, one of my favorite things to grow, and one of my favorite things to sell. So we will certainly have a lot of blueberries, and Mississippi soil is great for blueberries. So you saw this, it still hasn't changed a great deal. I still have opportunity for trees off in here. They're actually on order, so I'm looking forward to some native trees that we'll be planting in there. Down here, you can see that we're not very good mowers. We're lazy mowers on purpose, especially in the springtime when clover and that comes in for the bees. You can see still lots and lots of the field. One of the first projects we did, I'm trying to slowly carve away pieces of our lawn, much to my husband's dismay, in order to create zones for flowers, or for bees and pollinators. So this is one section. It looked much better in the springtime with lots of flowers. It still has a few in there that are holding steady, but it will be packed next year. And then I will add another one to match it over here. I just haven't got around to it. And then this was this already existed. And this is our bird bath area, also full of native flowers that we've been adding along the way. And the birds do spend quite a bit of time when it's really super hot in that bird bath. I did a video on this guy. This is our pollinator patch. And this was amazing this year. I also call it the bee bar. It had nothing but butterflies all over it for a good portion of the summer. It was absolutely amazing. Not to mention butterflies, like there was bees and all kinds of bugs all over this. And my main purpose, as I mentioned in the earlier video, is one, to provide a nectar source. So this would have been all grass lawn that we just mowed, that's now cut up and turned into a nectar source for bees and different bugs, or pollinators, I guess I should say. But it also has a benefit to me because right behind it you can see is the garden. So moving over to the garden while we're on that topic, this is the new massive garden. This is what I call the house garden. We actually had two gardens last year. We had the market garden and the house garden. The house garden is the one that's voila, near the house. So it went through quite a different couple of processes. The first one was when you saw the video originally, if you look back at the 2018 video, that back corner back there was all tarped. We did a test and tried to do a no-dig process that failed miserably. And I'll do a separate video that talks about that. I won't spend a ton of time on that. But I have since then perfected it. So this year, this was actually a field of pumpkins. And let me tell you, this was a phenomenal pumpkin patch. We had such huge success with pumpkins this year. And it's been turned over into a new no-dig format. So we won't ever dig in this section again. That back section was just dug for a one-time dig, and it will never be dug again. We've converted it as I call it, as a conversion to no dig. So I'll talk a lot more about no dig, why I love it, the benefits to nature, on all that stuff in a totally separate video. People are probably looking at the swing set going, what's that? So when we moved in, we have this giant swing set that was in the yard left over with no swings on it, not of any use. And I'm like, what are we going to do with this? Like, do we chop it up and recycle it or what? And then I thought, well, let's put some cattle fence on it and have stuff grow up on it. And I did it late in the season, so I didn't actually have a chance to grow anything too much on it, but I did end up with a vine on it with the loofah. So I do know it's going to work. It'll be really cool to see next year. I'm just putting in now the dirt piles to like the no dig spots that will support cucumbers growing up them next year. So it'll be interesting for sure. So here's another view of the field. This is where the market garden was. For those of you that are like, what's a market garden? It's just a separate garden, and I grow specifically to take the items for sale to market. So I will actually go to the local farmers market and sell vegetables. So I will continue to mow, like dig out a section in here, but it won't be very big, and grow certain vegetables in here. But ideally, I only will grow them in the summer months, and then in the springtime, I let any flowers develop for the bees and stuff. Or in the fall. Did I say spring? I can't remember now. And then farther down here, we've actually cut through the fence, so I can walk through here now. You get a view of the rest of our field. All right. So we've added a few trees along the side here. Our compost piles, super excited about them. I would say that's the hardest part about converting to no dig, is getting enough compost. Fruit trees still in the back, they didn't produce anything. I'm not an expert in fruit trees, need to learn quite a bit more. Those are our muscadines, and they did fabulously well. I really enjoyed the muscadines. Not only did they taste great, but they were fun to grow. All right, this was that area I talked about. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but it's certainly a lot different, I think, than what you all had seen in the original video. I do have a rhubarb growing in the back. Rhubarb is exceptionally hard to grow in the south. It's almost like a weed in the north, a fantastic weed, but it's exceptionally hard to grow in the south. So here I am attempting to grow it. I got lucky and found a plant, and I'm going to try and keep it alive. Let's see. This wasn't in the original video. This is a greenhouse that my husband built. He's amazing. No plans, nothing at all. He just put it together with ideas. It may not last a major storm, but it's standing so far. It actually has lasted through quite a few windstorms pretty well, and it's functional. So I'm absolutely impressed. It's awesome. All right, back here and I had originally done a video saying I had to clean all this out, and I was going to put in all flower beds or garden beds. And I did do one. You can see that one right there. And honestly, it housed a gourd plant and gave me 65 gourds thanks to the plant and some beautiful hawk moss. And but after that, the weeds just, and I say weeds, actually it's weed is just really a misunderstood plant, but the flowers, the plants took back over, and I kind of came to the realization that this area needs to be left alone. So I am going to carve tiny pieces out to plant a tree or two in here, but you can see like all the goldenrod, this actually was full of different flowers that really attracted a ton of pollinators. So we're going to keep it going as it is. Now I'm going to pause here for a second, and then we're going to take a look at the chickens. All right, so we also have added the chickens, which I talked about originally that we had hoped to do, and we have since done so. We ended up in our first year having a hawk come in and take out one, so we had to put netting all over the top. It's now Fort Knox. It's pretty hard to get into, although we also have lost one to a possum, which I love possums, but I don't love it when they eat the chickens. So it's been a lot of fun having chickens. They are a lot of work, but good thing is we do eat a lot of eggs, so it's been great for eggs, and I do really enjoy them. They are a lot of fun. So the other pen, there's another pen in the back. We haven't been able to keep up with it. It's overgrown. You can kind of see all the stuff over there, which is fine. Again, it's just producing a ton of wildflowers that make a lot of the pollinators happy. So again, this area would have been all loved on by goats, was a lot flatter, and is now for us just nature area. Again, I keep a little path that goes down here, and I have some chairs that I will sit in and occasionally film a video or something like that. You can see off in the distance there's a goat house. It's an unused goat house, but it exists, and the pond is quite low. Although we've had quite a bit of rain recently, it did help, but it did get very low this summer and seems to drain throughout the heat of the summer. So this, I think, is for the most part the farm. I will do separately a video of the nature path that exists on the farm, and I'll walk you guys through it. It's neat, and it's neat to me. I don't know, maybe it's not to you, but it certainly is to me. In my original video, I talked about making this area my spot for garden stuff. Yeah, that didn't happen, and I'm glad it didn't. It's too dark under there. We ended up being in another spot. So we'll head back over to the front of the house, and I'll sum it up here. But yeah, so in the end, we're not, I ended up using the greenhouse instead of that area for working on my plants, which has been great. And this is our little area that we used as a rain garden. It's helping to take in some of the rain that comes in when we have heavy rainfall. This brings us back out to the front of the farm, and Dippy saying hello on the porch. All right, so I'll do another farm tour in the prime garden time of the year when the garden's full of vegetables. And like right now, I think all I have is some cabbage, a little bit of squash, and some leftover peppers and stuff. So I will do one when the garden is full bloom. All right, thanks everyone. Take care and be nature friendly.